Good morning. Welcome to morning practice. My name's Olivia. If you're new to this practice, we offer a morning practice of some meditation, some breath work, and some movement to cultivate a deeper relationship of awareness with yourself, with your heart, with your body. And we talk about those things in our morning practice. If you're not new to morning practice and you've seen these videos before, you will notice there are some big differences today. I've had to reorientate the room. The electricity is not entirely off, but the usual setup in this room does not appear to be working. So I've set it up like this. I may change it during practice, depending on how the light works. But yeah, you get to see what I see, which is Cortlandt Avenue out here behind me, and the many comings and goings of Bernal Heights in San Francisco. It's very Uranian energy, pretty much from March 20th to May 20th. We have Jupiter coming into conjunction with Uranus, and whether or not that is something that you're aware of or even have pay any sort of attention to, it brings about energy of unexpected unexpected changes, usually with blasts. And I will say this, that when I was breaking things down yesterday after practice, I also unfortunately lost the digital clock that I keep time with practice by. So I need to replace the clock. But today I will be using my phone to refer to time as we go through the morning practice. So just know that, yeah, if I appear to be looking at my phone, it's just because I'm checking the time and making sure that we stay on time. And we may reorient the camera, but it might be just too tricky. And I've kind of looked and checked at the angles, and hopefully it will all be fine. Today is also the day that this room is used right after practice. So I may just keep us really on a tight schedule today, because we'll see our friend arriving right at 8 o'clock to use this space. And I don't think, anyway. So yes, it's a unexpected week of unexpected things happening, and things continue to be, we're still very much feeling the energies of the on Sunday, Monday, a really profound time. And if you didn't notice it in your life, very much highlighting the significant relationships in your life in a sort of culminative way. It's interesting, the more I check in and discuss with people in my community, friends, how that energy has really played out for a lot of people. It does seem that Sunday, Monday brought about a number of culminations, and some beautiful culminations, but also some difficult ones. And the good news is this, with the equinox, which was last week, we really began that initiatory energy of this transition that we're moving through. The equinox is that renewal, regeneration energy that was really almost palpable. You could feel a sort of uprising of energy last week. And then we moved into the Libra lunar penumbral eclipse. It was just a partial eclipse. And that really was, as we've been discussing, releasing trauma, releasing relationship patterns that no longer serve, and particularly relationships with ourselves that no longer serve, meaning constructed sense of self that we've talked about, that we've used a constructive sense of self to hide our more narcissistic tendencies, to mask our ways of being unconscious and unaccountable in our behavior by creating a sort of sense of self around them. And I think this energy right now of the recent full moon is really asking us to be proactive and stepping into our empowerment and saying, I'm not a victim. I am not a someone who life, you know, we tell ourselves these stories, but what we're really trying to do is get to the truth about understanding how we've been participating in our own unconscious patterns. And morning practice is such a good lens, because we're using meditation, breath work, and movement to have a relationship, cultivating awareness with the body. And that is the beginning of, you know, beginning to explore what our unconscious movement patterns are, things that lead to injury, things that lead to, not always, but just things where perhaps we're less accountable and not paying attention. It, you know, it's so useful. I want to say this, you know, as a dancer, you know, going to dance class with mirrors in the room can be distracting, but it's also like, how else do you begin to study parts of yourselves that you move without realizing that you're moving it? Like, if my shoulders are hiked up here for most of class, how will I know that if I'm completely unconscious of it unless I see it or it's pointed out to me and I'm asked to release the shoulders and broaden the chest? What do we carry? You know, it's pointed out so often that 10% of our behavior and functioning is from the conscious mind, and 90% is from the subconscious mind. So even trying to tap into our unconscious behavior requires work and requires practice, and morning practice is a vehicle here to help us do that. And we've had some technical issues this week, and we're continuing to have them. So I anticipate, though, that this is just the case of finding the fuse. And I did attempt to find the fuse. I know this building well. I've been associated with this building for a long time, and I went looking for the fuse. And the setup has changed since the last time I went looking for a fuse, and so just wasn't able to access them at all in a very short amount of time this morning. So we're working with what we have, which is always fun. It just allows us for something different. And you'll see the wonderful neighborhood passing us by behind, and some people may stop. We often have curious children and a lot of dogs. And yeah, just enjoy. I hope it doesn't feel intrusive to what we're trying to do here together today. And as always, the intent and the aim, and I certainly anticipate in the next year we'll be changing the location in the next few months, but this is an unfolding path, and myself in my own practice, I'm in the deepest state of trusting that what is coming forward is going to be what serves this practice best, what serves what I'm offering you best. So we're here on Thursday and moving into the weekend. So it's the last day of practice this week. Again, I just like to take a moment to remind us that this is not something to, you know, do on a sort of strict schedule, but it's really more about sharing tools, sharing practices that you can then go and personalize and make your own. in your own time, for your own daily practice, for your own observance of yourself. And I really encourage you over the next few days, over the weekend, if you're practicing regularly with me, to take a moment. It doesn't have to be the full hour, it doesn't have to be the format that I use, but just take time for yourself to connect to your heart. If anything, take time for yourself to connect to how you're feeling. It's been a week. There have been some very big energies, especially around unpredictability, surprise. Look at where we are, and also just release and difficulty. I think I had a really beautiful conversation yesterday about difficulty in relationship, and it's sort of inevitable that we all experience difficulty in relationship, and in with varying degrees of intensity. When one is closer to ending a relationship, it can be much harder. When one is in the beginning stages of a divorce, it can be very hard. Or just even making that decision. At the same time, knowing that these decisions that we're making about release are ultimately about serving our soul path and our growth as a soul. Certainly to leave a situation where we are not being seen or served or heard is a beautiful act of self-care. And it might feel difficult in the moment, but what you're really doing there again is communicating with yourself that you do care about yourself, and you do have a loving compassion towards yourself, and you're going to support yourself out of a situation that is hurting you and into a situation that supports and loves you for who you are. So these choices that we take and the endings of things, and sometimes it's not the ending of the relationship, sometimes it's the ending of the behavior that doesn't support the soul path. But sometimes it's the ending of a relationship. And that wherever we all are, wherever you are, because there is a lot of this energy this week, you have such a beautiful, unique, extraordinary light inside of you. There is no one like you. There is no one that has your gifts, and you are essential. And to be operating out of your authenticity, to be operating in your true power and your true self, requires supporting yourself and having self-awareness about the situations and relationships we put ourselves in. And so it's a difficult path. It can be, but it's also the path that grows us the most. I think all of my most difficult relationship circumstances have led to the most profound spiritual breakthroughs, creative breakthroughs, and actually grown me as a soul in a way that I believe that I, as a soul, chose to come here to grow in that way. And so if you're experiencing difficulty, hold yourself with reverence. I've talked a little bit longer than I normally do, and that's partially because I have less circumstances are a little bit more unpredictable. So bear with me. Let's drop into meditation. Find a comfortable seat. Let your eyes come to close. Make sure you're sitting in a way that feels supported to you. Make sure you're sitting in a way that the sit bones are releasing, the tailbone is not crunched, but like allowing the tailbone to extend, allowing the pelvic bowl to sort of drape forward slightly. That could mean placing support under the sit bones. If it's more comfortable for you to sit in a chair, please do. Letting the focus settle inside. If there's a position you would like to hold yourself in reverence with, just allow yourself to find a connection internally within. The noise of the mind receding like a drama on a stage with the curtains closing. All that will be there later. Right now, we have become silent, and our focus is internal, quiet, our seat, our connection to the earth, stable, and our awareness settles on the heart. And I'm going to just allow us all to drop in silence to a heart meditation. If this is new or uncomfortable for you, just connect to the feeling of life force, the feeling of light that emanates from your heart. If you would like to make a dedication or offering, please just call that into your being. And we'll take a few moments in silence. You may slowly let your breath deepen. And as the breath deepens, just imagine you are breathing in and out through your heart, filling the chest, filling the belly, filling the cavity of the torso, and exhaling, releasing. And again, breathing in, filling the chest, the belly, the cavity of the torso down to the seat. And then one long exhale, release. And let's breathe in again, filling the chest, the belly, all the body down to the sit bone. And exhale, release. Let's take another 2 breaths like that. Breathing in, chest, belly, torso to seat. Exhale, release. Feel yourself empty out. And again, inhaling chest, belly, torso to sit bone. And exhale, release. And then we'll inhale to Om together, inhaling. Om. And you can let that drop down. I'm going to play some music. It's interesting with the different setup. I feel slightly more timid than normal. I don't know. I think it's because of just the difference of the setup. But like my Om there was like no. But anyway, let's go over to the mat. We'll, do what we can with the practice. I'm going to keep my phone nearby so that I can see the time. Blocks can be good for practice, but let's go over into some breaths of gratitude, and we'll take it from there. Blankets can be useful. You can see my stack of blankets from the other side. Not so nicely stacked on this side, are they? Oh, there's nothing like a good perspective shift to reveal things, right? Okay, so I'm not sure about this lighting. I had a feeling this would happen, is that the lighting as the day grew would not work well because we were backlit rather than frontlit. So what I am going to do is I'm going to bring the mat closer, I think, to the light, which means it's going to be harder to see what I do. Oops, excuse me. But maybe we'll just do a practice where I can talk us through. And so I have my mat now perpendicular to the screen. So I'm facing you. The narrow edge of my mat is facing the screen. The long edges of my mat are perpendicular to the screen. And then I'm going to sit here on a block with my legs stretched out in front. And I think we can manage with this lighting. And then just let my feet wag side to side. If you could see my feet, they'd be waving at you back and forth. I do apologize for the technical issue. And then I'm going to take that seat out and just come into a forward fold. So allowing the body to come down and just folding over your crossed legs, letting your forehead come down to the mat. And just taking a moment of rest here. How do we handle disruption? How do we handle when the situation and circumstances change? Can we continue with equanimity? Can we continue with ease and peacefulness? And always know that you can just, take a forward fold, which I like to do. So we'll inhale our arms overhead, hands come to prayer, prayer comes to heart, and we're just offering gratitude and love for this body, for our receptor of all things that we see, touch, taste, the body that is the sensory organ of our nervous system, our mind, of our heart, of our gut, our skin. Such an incredible instrument of consciousness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And inhaling, arms come overhead, hands come to prayer, prayer comes to heart, offering gratitude and love for all beings everywhere on this planet. May they be happy and free. May all people be liberated from the suffering. May the illumination of the highest consciousness wake up in all of our hearts. Prabhu Ap Jago, Paramatma Jago, Virsave Jago, Sarvatra Jago, Sukanta Kakel Prakashko. Inhaling, arms come overhead, hands come to prayer, prayer comes to the heart. Just offering love and gratitude for this incredible planet, our home, our nurturing mother, our earth, sustaining us, feeding us. So grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you can let your hands fall to your lap, and we'll just take some torso rolls to the left and some torso rolls to the right. And then we'll reaching our arms overhead. We'll just take a nice side bend to the left. Really reaching that right arm up and over from your hip. and then side bend to the right. And then you're gonna just come onto all fours like a cat-cow. I think I am gonna move my mat long ways, but I'll show you what I mean. So you'll be in just a tabletop position with your hands and feet, like just a neutral spine, and then allow yourself to bend in the spine and flex, coming into a few cat-cows. If you want to add intuitive movement to your cat-cow, you can try that. So that's just basically adding hip rolls, adding neck rolls, anything that you need to add. I think because we have limited sight today, we're going to keep the practice pretty low to the ground. So the first thing we'll do is an extended supported heart opener. So to do the extended supported heart opener, it's great to have 2 blocks. If you don't have 2 blocks, I would get a couple of blankets, and I'll demonstrate this for us. And I'm going to keep my phone nearby so that I can see the time. Okay, so if you're using the blankets, let's get this into a position where you want it folded into sort of like a nice courser. And then when from this courser, you're going to lay that in front of you and then start to roll this. So you have a sort of largish burrito shape roll. And that is going to go on the mat underneath your spine. The base of the roll will go right at the bottom of the tailbone, and then you drape your body across the blanket and let your arms fall to either side. You can use another blanket to support under the head if you would like. So that is one option. If you don't have blocks or a blanket, but you have a sturdy cushion, just place the sturdy cushion underneath the shoulder girdle area. If you can have the base of the cushion around the base of the shoulder blades, that would be ideal. If you have blocks, we're going to have 1 block on its highest setting here, and the second block on its medium setting, with the long part of the block going between the shoulder blades. So if you can see here, and I'm going to point the light down a little bit, so maybe we have a better. I don't think that changed anything, did it? No. Oh dear. So the 1 block is long and 1 block is up high. And on this, we're going to put this between the shoulder blades, the base of the block, this part here. It's going to go right at the bottom of the shoulder blades, and the higher block is going to support underneath the head. This is a really great way to counterbalance all that time we spend bending over devices. So really make sure as you come into this position that your leg warmers are adjusted so that your legs are nice and cozy, if you have leg warmers on. But as you can see here, the block is underneath the head. The block is not tipping at all from side to side, or at least it shouldn't be. Sometimes it is worth coming into and taking the time to really find that position. And then the lower block really settling between the shoulder blades. It's been a real technical week. There were some sound issues on Tuesday, light issues today. What is all this Uranus energy going on, eh? I don't know. So, and yeah, there's just a lot of upheaval with the eclipse energies this weekend, and surprise, but also entailed in that kind of relief. You know, relief that we've walked away from things that we're destabilizing us. Relief that we've left behavior patterns behind that, we're about pleasing other people and not serving ourselves or being in our own power. Relief that we can grow in this regard. And as we rest here in the heart opener and allowing the pelvic bowl to really drop, my legs are in Baddha Konasana, which is butterfly legs with the feet pressed together, and knees are wide. Please just take a leg position that feels comfortable to you. You can have the legs outstretched. And we'll just continue to breathe here. So again, as you let the weight of your body really drop and let yourself really feel that solid and sturdy support behind your heart, holding your heart open and allowing your shoulders to drop either side of that block or the blanket, or if you're on a cushion, just allow the weight of the body to let the chest be supported. If you've got like a cushion underneath your back, so that the cushion is holding the chest up. That is the aim of what we're going for in a supported heart opener. In my own practice, this is the position that if I, do one thing during the day as part of my yoga or movement practice, this is what I will do, because we do spend so much more time with our spines curved, whether we're curving over a desk or a computer, a phone, a bicycle. That's not entirely true, but we do spend a lot of time with our spines curved opposite to this. So, and we also spend a lot of time with our chest and heart center closed off and wrapped in and protected. And that's understandable, we want to, it's hard to walk around life with a big open heart center all the time, especially when you're, feeling protective and private. But here in your own morning practice, in your own safe space, you can really allow the heart center to be wide open. And using gravity, letting that support hold you from behind. And we'll just breathe here again, breathing into the chest, breathing into the belly, breathing all the way down now, all the way through the body, the sit bones, the feet. And then one long exhale. Again, breathing in through the chest, in through the belly, in through all the body down to the toes. And exhaling. And as you work consciously with this 3-part breath, filling the chest, filling the belly, filling the whole body, and one long exhale, imagine that breath moving through the heart center. And as you exhale, with each long exhale, I encourage you to use the motion of the exhale to release even more onto the support underneath you. This is such a therapeutic posture. We really could stay in this for the whole hour. And it would be enormously beneficial. But let's do some other movement because we can. So we're just going to slowly roll to one side, allowing your head to drop off the upper block onto the floor and coming onto the side. And as you come here onto the side, let's just rest here for a moment, because you'll feel the blood pressure around the space where the support has been, especially if you've been on blocks. Just notice how that feels. Notice the different quality. And then pushing into your hands will push up to a seat and come to cross-legged here. And I think we're going to take a pigeon to either side. So what I mean by that is that I'm going to take my left shin and place it sort of diagonally to the left side of the mat here. So my left shin is diagonally to the left side of my mat. My right foot, kicking the block out of the way, my right foot is just going to be extended behind me in a nice straight line. And you can even look back over your right shoulder and just tuck your toes, your right toes, and just lift the leg and make sure it's nice and straight behind you. And then you can press into both hands in front of your left shin and allow the chest to just reach up. And you'll really feel that extra opening from the supported back bend we've just taken. So really take that extra space. Feel that extra space in your heart. And then slowly allowing your chin to begin to curl down as if your chin was going to touch your chest. And just before it does, let that momentum take you down so that the body can fold over the front leg. And we'll stay here for a while in our pigeon pose, just really letting the weight drop into the hip. What is always beneficial that I like to mention about taking more restorative posture is your stillness with the movement allows your awareness to increase. When we're moving quickly from pose to pose, that is when a lot of our unconscious movement patterns tend to arise because we're moving quickly and we don't, they can easily just come up because we're moving through them quickly. When you're in a posture of stillness for an extended time, you begin to notice what is uncomfortable, where you might be gripping, where your jaw might be gripping unnecessarily so, or there's tension between your shoulder blades, and this is not a, pose that engages the shoulder blades at all. And you will notice tension in the hips. That is normal. But if you're having any sensation at all in the knee, you're going to take this position on your back and do a figure 4 on the back with your right ankle on your left, or your left ankle on your right knee, and bringing that towards you instead. Any knee pain in pigeon should be addressed by taking the same hip stretch, but just on your back instead. But I'm going to reset up here to just continue to fold forward over my left leg. And notice where the hip is gripping. Notice if you can release. Notice any gripping at all that might need releasing. And as you're ready, you're going to just lean to the right side, lean into that hip, and just bring yourself up to seat. The left foot can go underneath you. The right foot can go over top. And we'll just hold that right leg in for a moment. And then maybe curling the chin towards the chest. And looking up, arching the spine. And curling in towards the chest. I do apologize about the light quality. It's very poor today. But it gives our practice a different atmosphere, slightly more public. She says in the Bosco spot. Okay. Reaching into the right arm, letting that right hand come behind you, and just hold that right knee in. Just feeling a twist. We're just taking a gentle twist here. You can rock slightly from hip to hip. And then we'll unwind that, taking the right leg out. The left knee is bent. The inside of the left foot is on the inside of the right leg. And we'll just press your fingertips into the floor, raise the chest, and allow the body to fold over the right leg, the extended leg. I'm feeling very like I'm being very careful with my hamstrings today, though I was talking earlier in the week about this fold, about being really initiated from softening in the hip flexors. And I really want to emphasize that again. Like for me, these kind of seated forward folds, whatever position, really are so much more about softening the hip flexors than they are about stretching the back of the leg. I mean, the back of the leg is going to get stretched no matter what. But if you put your awareness in that hip flexor and soften there, you may actually find there's more room to move. And then you're just going to press up. We'll face the right knee, reaching our arms out at a T and stretching the left arm overhead, reaching into the ceiling. And bring back up. We'll bring both legs out. Take a moment here to just let the pelvic bowl fall forward. You can even place a blanket right under your sit bones, anything to help the sit bones be supported as the pelvic bowl drops. And you just allow yourself to come forward here. Take a brief forward fold. We'll come back here for a longer hold in a moment. And then pressing into the hands, we're going to take our right hand into the right knee and bring it in. So that we're, again, now the right knee is bent, the inside of the right foot is on the inside of the left leg. And we'll start by facing that left leg, pressing up into the fingertips, up into the hands, and folding forward. And again, take this slowly, take it gently. Allow yourself to really come from the hip flexor, facing the leg. Really put your awareness in the hip flexor. You're going to feel the stretch on the back of the leg, but just allow your focus to be right in your hip flexor, right where I'm pointing. And then imagine that part just getting really soft, really soft. And feel how that expands the posture. Somehow it gives us more room, the softening, the relaxation, the ease, as opposed to the strain. And pressing up, we're going to face the right knee, extending our arms, and then reaching out into the left hand, letting the left hand fall, and just taking a very gentle side bend here. And just a very simple morning practice this morning. Heart opening, heart support, and some gentle stretching. It's been a week of some big energies, you know. And in the morning, it's good to just sort of take it slowly and gently. If there's a more vigorous physical practice you'd like to do, as the day goes on, there's so many options for that. But really, today's practice here, with all of the unpredictability and the changes, is just going to be kind of a little bit quieter. So we'll again hold that left knee in now and just let the chin drop. I definitely have some neck stiffness today. Oh. Yeah, just allow yourself to explore that and feel your own neck stretch for yourself. You can really curl the chin in and then release that. And holding that knee, we'll reach the left arm up, left arm comes behind, and just allow yourself to come into an extended twist. Using the inhale to lengthen the spine, almost like your spine was growing towards the sky and the daylight outside. I know. Oh dear. Anyway. Life is unpredictable, and we do the best we can to navigate when things happen quickly and you have to change things around. You can come back and release that twist. You can open your legs wide to a V again, allowing the pelvic bowl to drop forward. And then I would get some support for underneath the forehead so that you can just rest here in the forward fold, allowing the forehead to really just release into the support underneath it. If you want to come all the way down and feel you can do that with a nice, gentle, relaxed spine that is straight, allow yourself to just find the forward fold that feels the most supportive to your being in this moment. Breathing here, again, imagining the breath filling the chest, the belly, the torso, the whole body. And one long exhale. And let's take a nice sigh. Let's sigh out our breath, breathing in and out. We'll press up. First, pressing the chest forward, pressing into the hand. Every time I see the lighting on the computer, I'm like, oh God, this is terrible. Especially as the daylight comes on, and that's understandable. So let's see what the time is. I am going to have us come onto our backs. We're going to take a recline twist. The knees will fall to the left, and then they will fall to the right. And then we will go into a resting posture, into Shavasana. But let's take that twist first, and then we'll rest on our backs for a moment, and then we'll rejoin and maybe have a longer closing meditation and a little chanting. So let's come to your back, pointing your knees up to the ceiling. You might press your feet into the mat and just lift the hips up and down, just feeling the tailbone rise and come back down to the ground again. Tailbone rising, come back down to the ground. And then just let the legs just fall as they are, easy, gentle. Let them fall to the right, looking out over the left arm. And then pressing up, pressing into your feet, pressing into your feet, and letting the legs then fall to the left, looking out over the right arm. Just allowing yourself to be in this easy reclined twist. And then you're just going to come to your back. Maybe take a couple circles with your knees in one direction, a couple circles with the knees, another direction, and allowing both legs to rest on the ground, palms face up, and we'll just take a few moments in a resting posture here. Just allow your whole body to sink into the earth, letting your eyes soften and close, letting the pelvic girdle really release the ground. Beginning to feel some movement in the body. Feel the breath fill you, feel your awareness of movement, of the movement of air across the surface of the skin. Let your awareness build slowly. Just be very gentle, as if you were just holding the most delicate flower vessel of your being. And that flower is very exquisite, fragile petals, slightly moved by the movement of the air. As you take time to notice yourself, notice your fragile, exquisite uniqueness. Just hold that with a sense of reverence for a moment. Before you make any movement, before you go in any direction, just witness and acknowledge that frailty, that beauty. Just the smallest sensation. And you're going to slowly Make your way to a fetal position on one side and just rest in fetal position on one side, keeping the eyes closed. And as you let your body sink into this side and still really cultivating that sense of reverence for your physical vessel that holds this range of ability to sense frailty, to sense strength, this physical vessel that holds you. Imagine there's just a very cool, calming finger right between your eyebrows on your forehead. And you might just feel that cool, calming finger right on your forehead, as if you could just rest into that finger. And as that finger begins to draw away from the forehead, like it's taking this line of energy and releasing tension, anything that resides between your brows can just release. Let that go. And we'll slowly come to a seat together, keeping the eyes closed. As we close out the week, we'll do some chanting for all people everywhere. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. I will sing each word twice, once so that you can hear it, a second time so that you can repeat it with me. Then I'll put 2 and 2 together and repeat. And then I'll do all 4 and we'll repeat it a number of times. And basically, the meaning of these Sanskrit words are, may all beings everywhere in the world be happy and free. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. So we'll begin. Loka, loka, samasta, samasta, sukhino, sukhino, bhavantu, bhavantu, loka, samasta, loka, samasta, sukhino, bhavantu, sukhino, bhavantu, loka, samasta, 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 Sukhino bhavantu loka samasta. Sukhino bhavantu. Let's inhale to Om. Om. Thank you for practicing with me today and for bearing with the changes in the lighting. And it'll all be solved next week, but it's always important. And I think this is a really great demonstration to remember that you can still practice no matter what circumstantially happens, because really it's about your relationship with yourself and listening to yourself. So as you make your way through the next few days and weekend and any unpredictable energies that come your way, you can always return to your breath, you can always return to meditation, and you can always return to movement in a way that serves you. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope to see you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.